Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. At this time, I'd like to call the East Providence City Council special docket meeting to order on the 8th day of October in the year 2024. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Fogarty. Councilman Lawson.
Yeah.
Council Vice President Rigo.
Yeah.
Councilwoman Sousa.
Absent.
President Rodriguez.
Absent.
Okay. There are 3 members present. A quorum is in place. At this time, please stand to pledge allegiance to the flag. At this time, I'd like to have Chief Francisconi, the East Providence Police Department, lead us. Okay, so go to the budget section, number 3. Madam Clerk, please call the first department up, please.
We have Community Development, Planning, and Economic Development.
Okay. Will the director please come to the podium? Thank you. Could you identify yourself for the record, sir?
I'm Keith Brines, Director of Planning and Economic Development.
Okay. Fellow council members, any questions for the director?
Nope.
I have none.
Okay, I have one question, sir. What open positions do you have and what are your hiring needs?
We have an open position now, which is one of our senior planner positions that was formerly occupied by Johanna Walzak. The HR office is currently scheduling interviews with candidates who responded to that.
Okay. Are you satisfied with the needs of your budget?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, this would meet our needs here.
So how long has the senior planner been absent from this position, or there's been a void, I should say, in it?
I think it's been since around June,
June, okay.
and it is,
And the planner 1 position, that was filled in probably what, February, March, the new gentleman came on board?
yeah, he started in March.
So you've only really had a full department for like 90 days, and then you've had a void again.
I think so.
Okay. All right.
And we're looking forward to filling that senior planner position. One of the main things that position's responsible for is our $750,000 USDA grant tree planting throughout the city.
Okay. Thank you, Director.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk?
Public Works, the Public Works Director, Building Inspection, Engineering, Highway and Parks, and Streetlights.
Mr. Director present? Could you identify yourself for the record, sir?
Dan Borges, Public Works Director.
Thank you. Fellow council members?
I got nothing.
Okay. So I have one question. I have, well, 1 or 2. How many infill positions do you have in your budget, and what are they for?
I don't know all of them off the top of my head, but there are a few kind of across the board. They're all currently being worked on hiring with the HR department, but they are in the process of being filled. There are a handful in highway. There's a assistant city engineer position that just recently became vacant. Handful.
Thank you. My next question is, how many stumps do you grind a year?
How many stumps do we grind a year?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Then why are we purchasing a stump grinding machine?
Because our stump grinder is past its useful life.
No, I was just asking, is it more prudent for the financial being to hire one of these stump grinding companies? If you don't, if it's only 10 or 20 a year, it might be better to put out a contract and have a company. I'm just throwing that out as,
No, I mean, it's far more expensive to rely on a private company to grind stumps for the city.
And how are all the projects coming along? Uh,
Sorry?
how are the projects coming along that are in place right now, i.e. Glen Line Field?
How are they coming along? They're all progressing. We just recently received pricing. If you're speaking of Glen Line in particular, we received some pricing for basketball courts and repairs to the fencing.
When will we see the completion of the projects? Is Kent Field and Glen Line? When will we?
Kentfield will be completed next year. Glen Lyon probably around the same time period.
Spring of 2025, summer of 2025.
I don't have a number. I don't have a date for you. I'm currently got the pricing at the end of last week. I'm actually on vacation this week, so I haven't had a chance to digest those numbers and look at them. But I'd be happy to get you a timeline
Okay.
in a few weeks.
All right. And everything going well with the leagues and are they communicating in a proper manner with you?
That I'm aware of. Yes.
All right. Thank you. No further questions? Thank you for your time. Enjoy your vacation.
Thank you.
Son. Next, please.
Public safety, the police department, fire department, and public safety communications.
Okay. Chief Francisconi. Could you identify yourself for the
Good evening, Council. Chief Chris Francisconi.
okay. Fellow councilman?
How's the police station coming, Chief?
They are in full demolition swing. They have fully demolished our detective area, our narcotics area, and the suite of offices towards the rear of the station been completely demolished. We have a meeting tomorrow with the architect and the general contractor for a further timeline, so should know some more tomorrow morning, but moving right along.
Yes, awesome. I was talking to one of the officers. I'd like to get by there sometime in the next couple of weeks, if you don't mind.
Absolutely, it looks completely different. It's amazing.
Bring coffee, they'll let you in.
Hey. Chief, what open positions do you have?
Right now we have
What open positions and what are your hiring goals?
right now we have 84 officers. We're budgeted this fiscal year for 95. Although we have 84 currently on the books, we're really operating with about 79 when you factor in deployments, a couple illnesses, and long-term injury. We continue, like most police departments across the country, to have a significant issue with hiring. We're just not getting the numbers of applicants that we used to. Our goal is to hire right up to 95 if we can. We're going to keep at that. We currently have 3 officers in the academy that are scheduled to graduate if all goes well, knock on wood, just prior to Christmas. We have 1 lateral he's an out-of-state lateral, so he's wrapping up his academy training that we're actually doing to get him close to his post certificate in Rhode Island. And we right now have a list of 4 entry level on our latest hiring process, which is incredibly low. And we also have 4 lateral applicants. So we're in the process of doing background checks of those folks.
The 4 that you have on the list, they would be going to the next academy probably sometime in January or February of 2025.
Correct. The next academy is in January, and they would graduate in July. This academy right now that we have 3 in, they graduate the week before Christmas.
So basically, the state's running 2 academies a year, right?
That's correct. 2 academies a year.
So you could realistically maybe get 8 offices because obviously everybody's fighting for slots and there's a capacity that the state takes in, correct?
We have a very, very good working relationship with the Rhode Island Municipal Police Academy. We do send a lot of resources there to train and to help out in a variety of capacities. And generally speaking, we do get these slots that we ask for because we give so many resources.
Okay. So right now, your payroll is paying for basically the 85 offices or 79 offices, correct, right now? But your position, you're
Well-
budgeted for the 95, 96 that we expect, would hope to have.
Right, where we have 84, but we have 2 deployed. So really, 82 right now.
So that, that number includes injured on duty or any suspensions that might be in place right now?
79 does. yes.
79 does.
Mhm.
Okay. Talking about lateral transfers, is the bonus program budgeted and continue?
Yes. Unfortunately, the lateral pool has dried up a bit, and that's across the state. We used to get, a couple years ago, maybe 10 applicants. This time around, 4, and we're evaluating the quality of those 4 as I speak.
Okay. You gentlemen are good? I'm good. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk?
The fire department.
Could you identify yourself for the record, sir?
Michael Carey, I am the fire chief of the city of East Providence.
Fellow council members, question for Chief Michael Carey.
Yeah. So I'm confused about your FTE numbers. So fiscal year 24, there was 121. This year, you want to go down to 116, but didn't you just get a grant for more positions?
So those positions are actually in the workforce plan, but there's no dollar values to them.
Okay.
For all 12 of the recruits currently in the state academy, their pay and benefits for the first 3 years will be fully from the grant. So we'll be setting up a separate account so we can account for that money. Basically, we pay out of one account, reimbursed from the federal government.
So when the grant money dries up, where are we going to find 3.2 million?
By the time the 3 years goes by through attrition, we'll probably be back down to the normal 115.
Okay. So 115 is the magic number that you can operate this department?
We have 115 total, 3 of which are civilians, the rest are uniformed.
Okay. Okay. So the grant money is just going to cover, and then when the grant money runs out, we'll go back down to normal.
We've been running strong for the last few years.
Okay.
It tends to save on overtime,
Mm-hmm.
and it balances out and it works out better.
No, I agree. I agree. But I also, big picture, I look at the school cutting teachers and social workers, and where we're at in 12 in the fire department that for the last 2 years, you guys been telling us is fine. There's no need to expand coverage and stuff. So I'm just looking at the future, the budget, because grant money runs out. It's great, but once it runs out,
At one point, we were 20 over.
Yeah.
Full strength, and it lasted for 2 to 3 years, just about 2.5 years.
Okay.
Saved a lot in overtime, which
Gotcha.
kind of kept everything down.
But 115 gives us proper coverage for the 48,000 people that call this place home.
Mandatory positions through the CBA.
Okay.
So obviously that takes into the present equipment that you have. that's manning the present equipment that you have.
That's manning all the positions under the CBA, yes.
Okay. Uh, well, first of all, I want to congratulate you on the SAFER grant. You basically, Councilman Lawson, it's that's my first question. But for an additional question is talking about manpower, or I should say, people power. Have you factored into your budget the increased need of services for substantial increase in property development? We have Newport Avenue complex. We got the old Edmonds Place on Taunton Avenue that's still going to come on board. We have, the Riverside Square project that's already open. Capianato's talking about Narragansett Racetrack again. We have Ivory Place across the street. Christine Apartments already there. They're talking about wanting to do more. It's in front of us. East Point, Burnside, the Metacomet property, Sutton Place. There's talk about 44 Wampanoag and possibly 0 Wampanoag. With all these developers requesting, plus a potential, which I would hope and pray would happen, the famous location on Newport Avenue gets sold and could be something else. So, have you factored that into your plans long term? You just mentioned about personnel and coverage. We're talking about bringing all these developments into the city, and we're still going to have the same equipment.
Totally understood. Right now, we're on track with our numbers that we've had for responses last year. We might wind up finishing up a little bit closer to 14,000. Last year was just under 13,800. I wait till the full year comes up, and once the full year comes up, I'll weigh it against the previous 2 years. And we've slowly been going up a little bit here and there, but nothing, no drastic shifts and changes in responses.
And the weed at the year end in 2022, we got the number as far as mutual aid calls. We haven't seen any mutual aid calls for 2023. I would presume that you would have that number now, right?
I do it at the end of the year. We weigh a full year against a full year.
No, but you could tell me how many mutual aid calls there were in
Top of my head,
2023. No, I mean,
but I haven't seen any deviation from the previous year so far to date. So our average was 2 a day taken in, and 1 a day going out.
okay. Thank you. Yeah.
So somebody pointed something out to me. I just want to clarify. When you say most of the rescue calls are Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, are those 911, I'm in an emergency, come help? Or is that somebody just calling saying, I need a ride to my doctor?
I would have to go through every single one to figure out which ones are true emergencies, which ones are not. The predominance are true emergencies. We
But-
have the second largest elderly population in the state. We have several medical facilities now within the community.
Right, but a lot. So you're saying that when you guys are telling us that the bulk of these calls are Monday through Friday, some of those calls are non-emergency calls, just a ride?
They still fall under the purview that we have to follow the rules and regulations of EMS, providing EMS.
So if I called and said I need a ride to my doctor, I can get a ride?
As of right now, yeah, if you tell me your doctor says you need to be there right now, we're going to bring you there.
So there's really no need for a fifth rescue Monday through Friday.
If we want to cut down on the 2 out and 1 in,
Okay.
we'll probably do that. If not, that's above my pay rate.
All right. All right. So it's not all emergency calls and all right. Thanks.
Okay. I have one question now. We're going to switch your hat to the dispatch center. How many open dispatch positions do you have right now?
Right now, I believe we have all 11. We're looking at possible 1 or 2 leaving at the first of the year, but that's not confirmed. We can never account for that until somebody actually puts their papers in and says, I'm leaving.
I got to go back.
We also have the part-timers. We're supposed to start the hiring process for part-timers. Was recently negotiated in the CBA. But that probably won't take off until the beginning of the year also. all dependent on whether we lose a full-timer or not.
And facilities wise, you guys are all set. Okay. And your radio equipment, all your IT stuff, everything's
All
good?
our equipment is really good.
Good. Okay.
The only truck we're looking is, we put in for the grant for the tower ladder for the last 3 years, so we kind of gave up any grant possibilities through AFG 3 years, which is why we'll be looking for that in capital.
That would take the place of the tower ladder truck at Station 3.
That's correct.
And that truck's like what, 1995?
95 or 96, I believe.
And that was purchased used from either Bristol or New Britain, Connecticut? Is
Yes.
that-
Bristol, Connecticut, I believe.
Okay. And how long ago was that purchase?
5, almost 6 years ago. We've gotten a lot of use out of it. Provides the heavy gun that we need, especially for some of the districts that we cover. And the cost savings at that point in time, because we literally were down to one ladder truck. We had, we replaced a lot of vehicles in the last 5 years because they had gone unreplaced for much longer than that.
And the replacement truck here that you're looking in capital would have the same capacity and do the same, or if not better job than the one that would be replacing?
We would be looking for a mid-mount tower ladder, which basically the base of the ladder would be up just behind the cab and hangs the basket off the back of the truck. So it shortens up your wheelbase. You can turn into tighter streets. That truck has done a great job for what we've used it for, but it's, you can say it's a beast to drive.
Well,
So we would be looking for a more compact, but still have the same elevation, same capabilities, and be able to flow the same amount of water.
technology in 30 years obviously has progressed, so that would.
The only thing that hasn't changed is water. Water is still the only thing that puts fires out.
That's true. All right, I have no other questions for
Chief,
the
Is there any burnout situations going on with overtime?
Nope. Everything's going good. And running strong tends to keep that away. There's been some overtime. We've transitioned to, we used to have orders only during peak months for vacations and time. And now we have random orders all year long. Seems to be a different work ethic or demographic amongst the younger generation.
And Chief, you and I had a brief discussion about how I feel about the mental health aspect. Between the health coverage we offer and stuff, is there stuff in the budget for programs that if any of our first responders need something?
On one of the line items, we do pay for BH Link.
Okay.
But we also have other venues in which we use the peer support program.
Okay.
And we're always looking.
Okay.
Trained personnel, the peer support program are always looking for different venues, different avenues.
Okay. Police and fire, do you guys like mix on the mental health, making sure the PTSD, that kind of stuff, or is it each department does their own thing?
Which each department does.
Okay.
their own thing. But if there ever turns to an issue, we can talk, and we have talked in the past and got together.
Okay.
We try to make sure everybody involved in any kind of severely traumatic incident, which for us is out there.
Absolutely.
We try to make sure that everybody gets their time.
Absolutely. I think people, they should appreciate the stuff that you all walk into. You go into a home where a family member's in distress. You see the worst of the worst in car accidents and burn victims and stuff. And it can wear on a human being. So I'm glad to hear that you guys are fully cognizant of the need for that stuff.
Like I said, when I took over, it's one of my number one priorities.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Thank you, Chief Carey.
Finance Department.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Good evening, Council President and members of the council.
Could you
I just wanted to
identify yourself
clarify.
for the record?
Oh, I'm sorry, Patricia Rezende, Chief of Staff. The only thing I just wanted to make note, just Councilman Lawson was asking about the mental health. So actually, in each budget is a line for EAP. So every employee in the budget, actually, there's money set aside for exactly that, just services. Just wanted to make you aware.
Okay. Madam Clerk?
Finance Department.
Could you identify yourself for the record, please, ma'am?
Kim Brown, Controller for the city.
Okay, thank you for your time tonight, Mrs. Brown. Quick question, a couple of questions, I should say here. How much revenue has been recorded this year to date for school safety zone and red light cameras?
I don't know off the top of my head, but somewhere close to $3 million.
Has come in through end of August, September. So from November 1 of 20,
November 1 through
2020.
September. We just got our deposit last week.
so $3 million has come in.
Approximately. A little less, but real
Yeah.
close to 3.
Okay. And how much is budgeted for next year? And are you anticipating a decrease in revenue or an increase in revenue?
I don't know what's budgeted. I think we had talked about 3.5, but I'm not sure what's in there for the revenue for that. But that's what we budgeted this year, and we've still got another 3 deposits left. It's possible we might make it. We're not budgeting. We're budgeting flat.
And how much do you anticipate being in fiscal year 24's budget, I should say? How much are you anticipating being turned back at the end of the year to be transferred to capital from fiscal year 24 to fiscal year 25?
I do not know. I can find out, but I do not know. I wasn't involved with the revenue.
If you could, I
I
would
will.
appreciate that. I see the assessor here, so I could, probably be better if you want the assessor to ask the questions based on what I've had from my constituents in Ward 1 on the assessor program. Would you be comfortable?
Sure.
Is it okay to bring her up?
Yes.
Okay. Could you identify yourself for the?
Sarah Frew, tax assessor.
Thank you, Sarah. So a couple of questions from my constituents. How far along in the process are you?
So right now we're just finishing up. We're about 75, 80% complete with that field work, going door to door. Probably be done with that in December. And then we'll start doing like analysis and pricing. And then probably around February, March, we'll send out the notices so everyone gets their new values.
Okay. And so when the tax bills come out in May, June of 25 for payment for July of 2025, it will reflect the
The new values.
value.
Correct. Yep.
Now, as a layperson here, would you say that people shouldn't see that big of a jump based on we just came off the statistical only about a year or so ago? So do you see not a drastic?
Values are still going up.
Okay, but
Yeah.
so now
Not as big of a jump.
the jump, I
Right.
mean,
We're not going to
almost right
see
away.
like a average of a 50% jump. No,
Yeah.
it's not going to be that huge again, but values are still rising.
Yeah, I mean the $200 jump, so all of a sudden 500. Using the last one, now you might see it go from
Maybe
500 to
25, 30%.
Yeah, you might see it go from 500,000 to 550,
Right.
somewhere like.
Yeah.
But you're not going to
Not
see
as
the
drastic. Nope.
But again, obviously, the values go up.
Yep.
The rate will go
Correct.
down. I mean, that's the biggest concern because of the delay in the statistical one the last time, and now, I mean, people. One thing that I try to keep on telling my constituents is that there was a delay. It wasn't a good thing. Delay shouldn't happen, especially in taxes, and especially under the circumstances where everybody knew that the values were going up. But this time, it shouldn't be. And I'm trying to assure the people. So you basically have gone along with my analysis.
And
So
values are still going up.
Oh, yeah.
Not as drastically as we saw before.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the reason for the delay before was because we were in a once in a lifetime situation with COVID.
Yep.
And we wanted to make sure our data and everything was accurate. So that's why we considered the delay. It was a once in a lifetime thing that hopefully we never have to go through again.
That's for damn
Were
sure.
you an assessor in 07 when that housing bubble burst?
I was in the field. Yeah.
How did that affect a lot of things? Because that was a
So-
big drop, right?
Yeah, it was. Values came down, rates go up.
Right.
I mean, it's just a balance and act with that,
Mhm.
you know?
I just saw a Cape sold for, I think, 480.
Yeah. Yeah, there's still value.
Yeah.
Values is still, I mean, it's a good thing in a way.
And
Value
people
that
should know,
more
just because
equity.
right, just because the assessed value goes up doesn't mean your taxes
Taxes will, right?
follow.
We
So
try to balance that out with the tax rate.
exactly,
Yep.
exactly.
You should be there. So, any other questions for Ms. Few or Mrs. Brown? All right. Thank you for your
Okay,
time.
you're welcome.
Any other questions? Any other departments you'd like to bring up? Do I hear a motion to adjourn? East Providence City Council meeting on the 9th of October, 8th October, 2024 is adjourned. Thank you.